Hello again, everyone! Phantom's Y here, and we are back with some more Capo II. Last time, both oto-nee and Yume got drunk off of a alcoholic beverage that no one should get drunk off of, and then we had a strange, sort of awkward scene where Yume fell asleep in the bath, and we carried her to her room, and then had to help her get changed. So Yoshiyuki and Yume were both super flustered. And now we're picking up from there.
Ah, ototo-kun, ohayo.
As I entered the living room, I saw oto-nee resting her upper body on the kotatsu. Good morning. Though you look like you've hardly woken up yourself.
そんなことないよ。ちゃんと起きてます。
Oh yeah? Denying it in a cute way isn't going to change anything, really. You're looking way too relaxed. Also, your face is still a bit red. Are you still a bit drunk from yesterday?
お酒は残ってないと思う。でも、ちょっと頭がフラフラするかも。
You've got a hangover? You should probably get a medal for getting a hangover from Amazake, though.
またそういう意地悪言うんだから。
Well, if you're having a hangover, you should try to sleep it off.
これくらいなら大丈夫。そのうち良くなるよ。
That'd be nice. Hey, have you had breakfast yet?
まだ食べてない。けど、あんまり食欲ないかな。
Really? Trying to recover on an empty stomach isn't good.
ならお味噌汁が飲みたい。
Alright, just wait here for a bit, and I'll go make some. And thus I went off to the kitchen. Huh? Yume, what are you doing in here?
いや、それはここにいちゃいけない。私だってたまには台所に立ちたい時もあるよ。
I'm not saying you shouldn't be in here, just... Yume sure seemed to be full of fighting spirit. She's even put her apron on properly. Have you already sobered up since yesterday?
まあ、一晩経ってるし。
Oh, you were really drunk last night, but you don't have a hangover?
別に調子悪いところはないから。
I see. She seems to recover a lot faster than oto-nee. Well, maybe you got to sweat a bunch of it off in the bath. In a matter of seconds, you may just froze solid. Wait, what the hell am I saying? I'm pretty sure I just stepped on a verbal landmine. Yume's face suddenly turned bright red. No, I just couldn't piece together any kind of coherent sentence. The shape of her body, the glimpses I caught of her pink skin, the soft touch of her fingertips. Suddenly, all those memories from yesterday came flowing back. Well, even if you tell me to, it's not that simple to just forget it. I'll just keep remembering it instead. Yume was still blushing and kept squirming because she was embarrassed. For some reason, the way she acted like that just made me excited. Why did she look so cute?
どうしてあんなことしちゃったんだろう。恥ずかしくてまともに顔見れないよ。
Same goes for me. And hey, I heard that. We just stood there, both of us blushing. This strangely sweet atmosphere was making my heart beat like a machine gun. It was almost painful.
兄さん、昨日のことは、その...
Yume stared at the floor, fidgeting with her hands while looking embarrassed. Let's forget it. We'll have to do our best. Okay, I'll go back to the living room. Having said something I shouldn't have, I fled the kitchen. I heard Yume, with her voice cracking up, say,
約束、覚えてる?
She asked, trying to restrain herself. Yeah, I gotta be home by 6 p.m., right?
待ってる。
She said it in an honest tone. Her words made me feel embarrassed, so I hurried out of the kitchen. I really don't get it, though. Why can't I keep my face in check? Broadcasting a special news report. This morning, a family of 4 got into a car accident as... Click. Reporting from the scene of the incident. Yesterday, the residents of the peaceful residential area could hardly believe that all reporters sound like Sean Connery. Here's a follow-up report I'm on every news station. The serial arsonist case that started late last year. Yes, you cannot escape me. No matter what channel I picked, Sean Connery was there. All I got was one long stream of horrible news. The year had just begun, but watching this stuff made me depressed. Sean Connery will do that. Maybe I should go rent a movie.
ねえ、弟くん。これからちょっと時間あるかな?
Sure, I'm so bored, I feel like going into hibernation.
そっか、よかった。じゃあ、ちょっとお買い物に付き合ってくれる?
Shopping? You want to buy clothes or something?
違うよ。服じゃなくて。ねえねえお姉ちゃん、落とし蓋ってどこにあるかわかる? 落とし蓋なら食器棚の下の扉の中に入ってるはずだよ。ゆうべそこに入れておいたから。あれ、お姉ちゃんどうしたの? その格好、どこかに出かけるの? うん、冬物の服安くなってるみたいだからちょっと見に行こうと思って。
Huh? Didn't you just say that? God! Oto-nee suddenly put her hand over my mouth in order to make me shut up.
弟くんにも荷物持ちをお願いしようと思ってるんだ。だからゆめちゃん、お留守番お願いね。2人で買い物に行くんだ。あ、もしかしてゆめちゃんも一緒に来たかった？別に買い物なら1人の方が気楽だし。いけない、火つけっぱなしだった。
Yume ran back to the kitchen, flailing her arms. Oto-nee finally let go of me, and I decided to ask her what was up. Oto-nee, what are you doing?
はあ、弟くん、本当に忘れてるんだね。
Oto-nee looked at me with a shocked expression on her face. Did I forget what?
お誕生日だよ、ゆめちゃんの。
Ah! Crap, that's right. Yume's birthday is January 2nd. Then, was that promise about her birthday party?
だから、お買い物の目的をゆめちゃんに知られちゃったら面白くないでしょ?
Ah, I see. I guess she's been planning this for some time.
ってことで、お買い物付き合ってね。
Sure, but I don't know if she'll like anything I've picked out.
大丈夫だよ。
You really think so?
だって、弟くんが選んだってだけで、ゆめちゃんはきっと喜ぶから。
Well, if you say so. I didn't think so, but...
それじゃあ行こうか。なかなか決まんないね。
Well, you've been going through way too many things, that's why.
当たり前でしょ。弟くんさっきから全然真面目に選んでないんだもん。お誕生日にもろ水セットなんてもらっても嬉しいわけないでしょ。
Didn't you tell me earlier that she'd be happy with anything I picked out?
真面目に選ぶことが前提なの。
Huh? Did I just say that out loud?
弟くんの考えてることぐらいわかるよ、まったく。
This is the part where I slowly back away. I let out an exhausted sigh. Even if you tell me to be serious about it, isn't it a bit embarrassing to choose a present for a girl? Or something like that? Huh? Oto-nee? Oto-nee was right next to me a moment ago, but suddenly she was nowhere to be seen. Turning around, I suddenly noticed her walking around leisurely, way far behind me. Oto-nee, if you keep wandering off like that, we'll run out of time before choosing anything.
ごめんね。弟くん、歩くの早いからなかなか追いつけなくて。
Maybe your body's getting weaker because you've been slacking off so much for all winter break.
また意地悪言うんだから。
She puffed up her cheeks and looked into the air to show her displeasure.
ねえ、ちょっと喫茶店で休憩しない？弟くんも手とか足とか冷えちゃったでしょ？
Again? We just had a break, didn't we?
そう？ずいぶん前だったと思うけど。ねえ、30分だけ休憩しようよ。私、ちょっと疲れちゃった。
She said and let out a deep sigh. She looked a bit pale, actually. Oto-nee, are you feeling a bit sick?
そんなことないよ。
Really? It must be pretty tough, having a hangover.
大丈夫大丈夫。さて、頑張ってゆめちゃんのプレゼントを探そう。
Oto-nee put some strength into her steps and marched on. Ah, Oto-nee, hold up! We looked around through 8 stalls by this point. And finally, we'd found a present Yume might like.
いいのが見つかってよかったね。きっとゆめちゃん喜ぶよ。
I bought her a Vasquez set, or something. It had pictures of cutesy characters on it, too. I really didn't think that she had any interest besides sleeping and soaking in the bath. Oh well, she'll probably be happy with it. Oto-nee even pretended like she couldn't pick anything out and made me do it. I'm pretty sure she would have been able to pick something out faster, too. So, let's go take a break at a coffee shop or something. You're still tired, aren't you, Oto-nee? She replied, and for an instant, it sounded like her voice was about to crack. Thud. Oto-nee? Completely out of strength, Oto-nee collapsed onto the footpath. Oto-nee, what's wrong? Are you okay? I picked up Oto-nee, and she was terribly hot. Oto-nee. I put my palm on her forehead, and sure enough, she had a really bad fever. Man, she pushed herself too hard. Maybe that's what was up when she said she wanted to take a break at a coffee shop earlier. Come here, I'll carry you. I turned my back towards Oto-nee and kneeled down.
大げさだよ。ちょっとフラッとしちゃっただけだから。
Don't worry, you shouldn't push yourself too hard at a time like this. Now I was getting a bit angry. She was too reserved, even when things got this bad. Even when it was this bad, she wouldn't think of herself.
ごめんね。
You don't have to actually apologize. She slowly rested her body on my back. I could hear her strained breath from right next to my ear. Even the air she was exhaling was hot. Jeez. I had no idea it was this bad, really. Please hold out for a bit. I'll get us home quickly. With Oto-nee resting on my shoulders, I headed back home as fast as I could. Are you okay, Oto-nee? We'll be at the house in just a bit. Oto-nee didn't have the strength to answer me. All she could do was let out small painful sounds. Even her breath was surprisingly hot. Rather than have her rest at our house, I decided that it would be better for her if I brought her back to her own bed. Oto-nee, do you have your keys? In your pocket? Ah, this must be it. Oto-nee was shaking. Maybe I'd tilted a bit too far when I dug around in her pocket for the keys. I'm sorry, Oto-nee, just hang in there for a bit longer. I finally managed to grab onto the solid metal object with my fingers. Yeah, this is it. I unlocked the front door as fast as I could. I carefully put Oto-nee down on her bed. I put a blanket over her and turned the heater on so she wouldn't get cold. A towel in the bathroom maybe? If I could find some ice. I stumbled around Oto-nee's house and gathered up all the necessary items for nursing her back to health. During that time, I regretted a bunch of things. How come I didn't notice that she was feeling sick? She showed so many signs. I really hated myself for being such a thick-headed brat. Oto-nee, what's wrong?
ゆめちゃん、待ってる。私、平気だから。ゆめちゃんのところに。
Oto-nee's words suddenly reminded me of my promise. I took out my mobile and checked the time. It's 6:30 p.m. If I hurry back home, I might be able to make up some excuse for being late. But Oto-nee had a terrible fever. I couldn't just leave her alone in the house. It's fine. I'll explain everything to Yume later. Oto-nee, you're hungry, aren't you? I'll go make some food for you.
でも
She'll probably scold me a bit, but then I'll tell her that you got sick, and I had to stay here for a bit. I'm sure Yume will understand. Yeah, it'll be okay. Yume isn't unreasonable or anything. And really, I can't just leave oto-nee alone right now. Don't pay attention to things like that right now, oto-nee. Just rest up, and I'll take care of everything else. Having said that, I hurried off to the kitchen. Oto-nee had finally fallen soundly asleep, but it was way past, I think. It was way past the time I promised Yume that I'd be home. Yume is going to be angry, isn't she? But I'll explain it to her that it couldn't be helped, and that I didn't forget the promise. I'll just have to emphasize it as much as I can. Oh well, I'm sure she'll understand if I explain. I can take a slap or two on the face. Maybe she's gonna throw things at me again. Suddenly, the wrapping paper on the present in my hand made some noise. It'd be nice if I could use the present to make everything better, but I'll just have to apologize for the time being. And then maybe we can celebrate her birthday together. Hopefully, it'll outweigh me being late. Maybe she'll forgive me, since it'll just end up being the two of us. I'm home. It was completely silent inside the house. Maybe she's already gone to bed? Just to make sure, I peeked inside the living room, and... Yume? Yume was sitting there alone at the table in the pitch-black living room. She looked so small, sitting there by herself in the darkness. I noticed that her shoulders were shaking a bit. Yume, I'm really sorry about today.
約束忘れちゃってたんだね。
She glanced at me emptily and mumbled it without a touch of emotion in her voice. There was a lot of food on top of the kotatsu that she was resting her weary hands on. Wine-boiled chicken, potato soup, brightly colored salad, and a slightly deformed birthday cake, which Yume had surely baked herself. But it looked like she'd had them out for quite a while. All of it had probably wound up going cold by now. I can't really say anything without making it sound like an excuse, but I didn't forget the promise, and I had no intention of breaking it.
いいよ。分かってたから。
Her sharp words cut my feelings pretty deep. They were weary, watered-out words with no expectations in them.
兄さんにとって私との約束なんてその程度のものだもんね。
I'm sorry, Yume. It's not that I took the promise lightly or anything.
ならどうして？
Oto-nee collapsed. The atmosphere changed a little bit. I was with her in the shopping district, and she collapsed on the street. She'd been pushing herself really hard, and when she fainted, she had a really bad fever, so I stayed with her to make sure she was okay. I remembered the promise, but I couldn't just leave her there while she was feeling so ill. I'm sorry I broke my promise. I lowered my head, as if in shame. No matter what reason I had, it wouldn't change the fact that I hurt Yume.
またお姉ちゃんか。いつもそうやってお姉ちゃんばっかり。
Not exactly the reaction he expected. Yume's voice was trembling. It sounded like she was about to cry. She sounded so incredibly lonely. I could feel that loneliness inside myself. So, I'm sorry it took so long to apologize, but here. In an attempt to change the mood, I held out my hand towards Yume. Today hadn't turned into tomorrow just yet. I picked this out together with oto-nee. She worked really hard to find this for you. She was really giving it her all for Yume then. Even though she was feeling ill, she still went through the shop after shop to find it for you, Yume. I know that I said too much for this to be atonement for what I'd done, but... So please, cheer up, okay? I smiled at her.
もういいよ。
I know it's a bit late, but we can still celebrate your birthday.
もういいって。
Yume's angry scream echoed throughout the house. Yume.
結局兄さんは私よりもお姉ちゃんが大切だってことじゃない。
No way. It was just because she got sick, that's all. Or are you saying that you would just leave her if she suddenly got a really bad fever? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't do that.
分かってるよ。そんなの私だって分かってる。兄さんが間違ってないって。そんなの分かるもん。
Tears started flowing from her eyes.
間違ってるのは私だから。バカみたい。一人ではしゃいで楽しみにしてて、浮かれて料理なんかしちゃって、誕生日だからって楽しい誕生日にしようって思って分かってたのに、全部分かってたのに、分かってたからずっと嘘ついてきたのに。ああ、なんで期待なんてしちゃったのかな。
Her words, as if she were blaming herself, resounded throughout the dark room.
おやすみなさい。
Yume stood up and sprinted off towards the hallway, trying to escape. Yume! To my surprise, she stopped in front of the sliding door. She turned her head around to face me. Her small shoulders looked even smaller now. It felt like she was going to disappear.
さよなら、兄さん。
Her words felt so heavy. What did she mean by that? Before I could figure it out, she disappeared into the hallway. Goodbye. What did she mean by that? I was left all alone in the dark living room. This was supposed to be a happy day, so why did it end up like this? And part of, basically, if you're going to split up the game into 3 sections, this is kind of like part 3 of the game, where you're very much focused on the heroine that you've been pursuing up to this point, meaning Yume in this case. For once, my alarm clock woke me up. I'm tired. Because I'd been slacking off so much during the break, waking up early was pretty painful. School's starting up again, huh? And the new year just started a few days ago. I wondered why winter break had to be so short. I think it should have been a month or so longer. Well, it'll be fun to meet up with everyone in class again. Whenever there's a long break, you don't really meet a lot of different people during that time. And since I stayed at home so much during New Year's, I didn't really hang out with anyone except oto-nee and Yume. Oh right, Yume didn't really talk to me much for most of winter break. She hasn't been coming over for breakfast since that day, and whenever I saw her, she ignored me.
さよなら、兄さん。
I don't think I've ever not talked to Yume this long before. Well, I'm sure it'll pass. No point in worrying about it. I better go wash my face. I washed my face and started eating a simple breakfast of French toast and milk when oto-nee showed up.
弟くん、おはよう。
Ah, oto-nee, good morning. Can you wait a sec? I'll just finish eating and... Ow, ow, ow!
そんなに急がなくても大丈夫だよ。まだ時間余裕あるから。
Ah, thanks. Where's Yume, by the way? Is she still sleeping?
先に学校に行っちゃった。すごい早起きして。
I see. I guess she's still angry.
私のせいだよね。ごめんね。
She bowed her head low. Well, you can't help getting sick like that. It wasn't your fault.
そうかもしれないけど、ゆめちゃん、あれから私ともお話ししてくれないんだよね。ずっと部屋に閉じこもったままで、だから謝るきっかけがなくて。
I see. Oto-nee lives in the same house as Yume, too. I can only imagine how much of a problem that must be. Well, no point in being depressed about it. I'm sure she'll cheer up soon.
そうだね。
Well then, I guess it's time to head to school. I took my dirty dishes to the kitchen and headed for the front door.
あ、ほら、ちゃんとホックする。
Even in our third turn, oto-nee was still the same oto-nee as always.
よしゆきくん久しぶり。そして明けおめ。
One second, I'm gonna deal with the dog. I don't know if you guys can hear her barking or not, but she is just going crazy. So, just 1 second. Ooh, okay, sorry about that. I think that's handled now. Okay. As soon as I entered the classroom, I heard some shrill voices calling out to me. Huh? Akane, did you get a bit of a tan?
スキー旅行に行ったからね。ゲレンデ明けってやつ。なんかね、かっこいいお兄さんたちにいっぱい声かけられちゃった。それでね、大人っぽいね。とか、クラスの男の子にモテるでしょ。なんて言われちゃったんだよ。
Well, that's probably a normal reaction to seeing your tits.
スキー旅行は楽しかったね。すっごく楽しかった。
Ah, so Nanaka and Coco went on the trip as well. I'm starting to think maybe I should have tagged along.
でも、ココはほとんど滑ってないけどね。ゲレンデで雪だるま作ってるだけなんだもん。前もそんなことあったよね。6世帯35体。そんなに作ってたんだ。全然滑りに来ないと思ってたら。結局リフトに乗ったの2回だけだし。だって。
Listening to the girls chat away, it really felt like the new school term had started. It's probably because I only really talked to Yume and oto-nee during the winter break. It's been a long time since I've been around these lively people. For some reason, I'm feeling excited about it.
あ、そうだ。よかったら今日みんなでカラオケに行かない？賛成。私も行きたい。面白そうね。月島も賛成。
Everyone agreed with Nanaka's proposal.
もちろん、吉行くんも行くでしょ？
Sure, I don't really mind. Come to think of it, I'd be surrounded by girls. I'm sure I could get used to situations like that.
そろそろ教室戻んなきゃ。移動始まっちゃう。それじゃあみんな、また後でね。
After the incredibly long opening ceremony was over, everyone gathered up to go to a karaoke box.
カラオケなんて久しぶりだな。なんか緊張してきた。別に知らない人の前で歌うわけじゃないし、そんな緊張とかしなくても。そりゃナナカはいいよ。歌が上手だもん。月島は。
Coco let her shoulders hang in disappointment.
ココちゃんの歌って独創性があるもんね。リズム感はバッチリなのにね。私は好きよ、ココの歌。いい感じに脳が揺れて。それ全然褒めてないよ。
Isn't that... I could see Yume getting ready to go home over by the shoe lockers. Hey, Yume, are you going home now?
Huh?
Yume's expression frankly told me she'd rather not have had me find her there. I guess she's still a bit peeved. We're all going for some karaoke, so I was thinking that maybe you would... Before I could even finish talking, Yume had already started walking away.
あれれ、無視されちゃったね。ゆめさん機嫌悪そうだったけど、吉行くん何かしたの？
No, well, how do I put it?
心当たりがあるんなら、さっさと謝っておいたら。
Even if you say that, I haven't really had a chance to apologize. Whenever I try to talk to her, she just ignores me.
冬休み中に何かあったの？ゆめちゃんと。なんだったら相談に乗るよ。力になれるかもしれないし。
All four of them nodded in agreement. I had 4 pairs of incredibly curious eyes staring at me. It felt more likely that they were trying to intimidate me rather than letting me consult with them. Oh well, it should be fine. If I discuss it with them, I might come up with some kind of good idea. Well, on New Year's Day, I gave them a summary of what had happened back then.
なるほどね。せっかく自分の誕生日を祝ってもらえると思ったのに、何時間も待ちぼうけ食わされたと。それは怒るよね。
But I couldn't help it, you know? Oto-nee was sick in bed. I couldn't just leave her like that.
それはそうだけど、 でもゆめちゃん寂しかったんだと思うな。きっとすごく楽しみにしてたんだよ。
Well, I guess you're right. I mean, she even made her own breakfast since then.
ま、結論を言うと義行くんをさっさと謝っちゃえってこと。
Nanaka presented her final decision.
そういうこと。義行は男の子なんだし。
Apologize, huh? Well, I guess that's how it is. We can't really keep up this strained relationship. I guess it might have seemed like an excuse when I couldn't figure out what she was angry about. I'll just head over to her house later and apologize to her properly. Well, I had already decided on what to do, but how should I do it? I couldn't really figure out how or what I should apologize for. I mean, I'd missed her birthday, and then I was really late to apologize about it too. I kept rolling around on my bed. Well, thinking about it won't do anything. I'll just handle things as they go. I got out of bed and headed for the Asakura residence. I'm going out for a bit, but dinner's on the fridge. Make sure you eat properly. Oto-nee. As I read the note on the table, I let out a sigh without thinking about it. No reinforcements, huh? And the enemy leader was in her fort on the second floor. Looking up at the ceiling, it felt like it was coming down on me. My stomach's tied itself up in knots. For some reason, I just couldn't shake the feeling that this was going to end in disaster. Wait, how should I approach her anyway? Oto-nee said that she had shut herself up in her room, so... And I didn't think she'd respond, even if I called out to her. I'll have to use some bait. No, that's no good. If she was just angry to the degree where she'd take bait, she'd have cheered up by now. She hasn't talked to me for like 10 days. This has never happened before. I really need to talk honestly with her. Anyway, that means that I can't just stand around here and worry about it.
兄さん。
Whoa! I looked at the corridor and saw Yume standing there. I guess she came out of her room while I was standing here thinking.
勝手に人の家に入って何してるんですか?
Huh? No, that's, I was just... Well, I needed to talk to you about... I felt so pathetic that I couldn't piece together a coherent sentence.
何の話です?
No, just, we haven't talked lately. Are you feeling well?
普通です。
I see. How was your day at school? No one had forgotten you, right?
それを聞くためにわざわざうちに?
No, that's not it. It's no good. I can't concentrate. Everything's just becoming a mess. I gotta shut up for a bit. For a second, Yume cracked a smile, and I watched her in fascination. Yume suddenly tensed her face up again.
話はそれだけですか? 私これからお風呂ですから失礼します.
Having said that, she disappeared around the corner. Yume! I quickly tried calling out for her, but she just went into the bathroom without even turning around. And then she shut the door behind her. I really can't chase after her in there. I guess I'll give up for today. I cracked my neck a bit. But I finally got to see Yume smile again. I wonder why my heart is beating so loud right now. I wonder. I didn't manage to apologize, so no progress, huh? It looked like she was going to keep this up for a while. But why did she get so angry in the first place? I knew I'd broken my promise with her, and that was my fault, but...
そんなの私だって分かってる。兄さんが間違ってないってそんなの分かるもん。
Thinking back, it seemed like Yume already knew I couldn't help what happened.
それはそうだけど、でもゆめちゃん寂しかったんだと思うな。きっとすごく楽しみにしてたんだよ。
I guess her mind understands her mind understands it, but her heart doesn't agree, and that's why she's angry. Even though I knew that, I never expected her to stay angry for such a long time. I mean, it's not like this was the first time I ever broke a promise with Yume. Of course, she got angry then as well, but after a day or two, she would always be back to her usual self. Could that mean that the main cause was something else this time? Sakura-san was sitting in front of me, holding her head in her hands and looking like she didn't have a single problem in the world. Well, I don't know if it's a problem, but it's about Yume.
Yume-chan?
Yeah, I'm sure I mentioned it, but I think I made her angry.
Ah, Yume-chanとの約束を破っちゃったやつね。あれ、まだ続いてたんだ。
It seems like it. She ignored me when I tried to talk to her today at school.
そういえば最近、Yume-chan晩ご飯食べに来てなかったね。
Yeah, she's totally avoiding me. It both bothers me and makes me confused. She's never been angry with me for this long before, and I can't really figure out specifically what made her so angry. I know it was my fault for breaking the promise, but why did it turn out so badly this time? No matter how much I thought about it, I couldn't figure it out.
それは簡単なことだよ。
Huh? Sakura-san looked at me with an honest look on her face.
義行くんがどうしてゆめちゃんが怒ってるのかがわからないから怒ってるんだよ。
Eh? She's angry because I broke my promise, and I know that.
うん。でも、それは原因の一つだよね。ゆめちゃんが怒ってる理由がそれだけだったら、こんなに長引かないもん。そのことに義行くんは気づいてるから悩んでるんでしょ？
Yeah, but I still can't figure out what else I did to make her upset.
うん。だからゆめちゃんは怒ってるの。
She was angry because I couldn't figure out why she was angry. Sakura-san's words felt like a puzzle to me.
僕に言えるのはここまでだけど、ちょっと考えればすぐにわかることだと思うよ。
Having said that, Sakura-san got up.
それじゃ、僕はそろそろ寝るね。おやすみ。
Sakura-san ran off to her room, with her arms spread out wide. And thus, I was alone in the living room.
義行くんがどうしてゆめちゃんが怒ってるのかがわからないから怒ってるんだよ。
I really don't get it. She's angry because I don't know the reason she's angry. Is this a case of the chicken and the egg? In my head, I went through what Sakura-san said. Sakura-san said over and over. It was going to be a long night. Okay, and I think that is where I'm going to end the stream for today. So everyone who watched, thank you very much for tuning in and hanging out with me. And for all you people who watch it later on YouTube, thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next time.